Hello there, one and all, and thank you very much for tuning to episode 513 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, live on YouTube as always. Regardless of whether you're watching the live or you're watching the recording, you are very, very welcome. And if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do consider doing so. First comment for this one goes to Alex, Alex makes the appropriate response and says, wow, Aramis. Jess says, I remember the Donna being huge. These took me by surprise, says Dave NYC. Still early here, well, very early in New York, if your name is an indication of where you're based. Ula says, I don't know that one at all, so I'm all ears. Interesting. I've never smelt this fragrance, says Thomas. I was not expecting people to say that. I thought people would be coming out more with sort of, yes, I remember this one. This is a classic, says Woozy. I prefer 900, but Tuscany is a chemist classic here. Dushan says, here we go again. Yes, absolutely. Very early in LA, says Wagstaff. Good morning again. Yes, if you have tuned in from North America or indeed South America, then I'm very, very grateful because it is extremely early on the west coast of the USA. Perhaps some of our Japan-based friends are still with us. Anyway, just very, very quickly to put things in context for those of you who haven't been watching live, we've just done a sort of extended review video where we talked about 5 perfumes, but I thought we would just do a single perfume review. I have no idea if lots and lots of people are going to tune into this one. Plenty of people seem to have at the moment, but just towards the end of the previous video, somebody announced that there's currently 30% off a selection of Serge Lutens products on the Serge Lutens UK website. So I don't know if lots of people have just gone over to Serge Lutens, which is fine because the recording for this video will be available. It seems they're doing a kind of Black Friday thing on some of their scents, including some of their gratte-ciels. Anyway, I thought we haven't done a kind of classic-y sort of vintagey kind of video for a while, and this has been in my collection for ages. I mean, as you can see, I haven't used it very much. This is Tuscany Per Uomo, and I thought it might be a good episode in which to talk about it because it celebrates its 40th anniversary this year. It was first released in 1984. Apparently in some markets it was called Etruscan, I think. These, I think this is still available. As far as I know, this scent is still around. It is currently listed on the UK Estee Lauder website as being out of stock, but not discontinued. About, I don't know, about 14, 15 years ago, a lot of the scents that came under the Aramis banner, like 900 that somebody mentioned, like, what was the one that was meant to be the kind of masculine counterpart to Youth Dew? Was it called JHL or JLH, something like that? That was meant to be like the men's Youth Dew. A lot of them were repackaged as the Aramis Gentleman's Collection. Can you see that there? And that was when I acquired this particular bottle because I thought it might be nice to have it. But I remember this when it came out, and I remember having a tiny little mini of it, and thinking that it smelled sort of terribly grown up and that I couldn't possibly wear it, but I enjoyed smelling it. Dushan says, Tuscany is beautiful. No wonder Leonardo da Vinci was born in that part of Italy. Oh, you mean Tuscany, the place? Yes, I mean, Tuscany, the place is absolutely beautiful. Still around, says Gavin. Aromatic, fougere, Azzaro, Pour Homme, copy. It's absolutely one of those sorts of scents, isn't it? It's very, very Azzaro. Let's have a spray of this. I don't have a press release, as you can imagine. I'm hoping that I'm going to have stories from you about your associations with the scent. I haven't even been able to find out who the perfumer is, but it's interesting, isn't it, that they're still making this, which shows that there must be a market for it somewhere. There must be a need for it somewhere. Gavin says, wondering if Mal should legacy collection the Aramis range. Yeah, but is he going to have anything to do with Estee Lauder anymore now that he's left them? I don't know. Anyway, this is so 80s, but you know what else it's making me think of? And I've never made the connection until now. It's making me think of YSL Rive Gauche Pour Homme, because, I mean, it is just the most classic kind of masculine fougere. It's all kind of stubble, hairy chest, but also maybe Brill cream in this case. Maybe it's got that kind of Brill cream slick sheen effect which is very 80s. I mean, was everybody's TV set just invaded by adverts for Brill Cream in the 80s? And Brill Cream, am I right that Brill Cream, the scent of it was basically a fougere, I think. Somebody please correct me. There was a red one and a green one. And I think I had an uncle who enjoyed using it, which is why, yeah, maybe enjoyed was the wrong word to have used there. And maybe I should have said who used it in his hair. It's as classic as a fougere could be. Obviously, this is not the original formulation. It can't be, because I think I got this in maybe 2008. No, I couldn't have got it in 2008 because I don't think they repackaged it as Gentleman's Collection until around 2009, 2010. So I guess this is a 14-ish year-old formulation. What do they call it? They say a distinctly sensual fragrance that embodies Italian style and passion, caution, flammable. That's probably as good a description of the fragrance as you need. What are folks saying? Gavin says, I think Aramis could majorly do a marketing rehaul. Havana, yes, Havana, 900, New West and Tuscany. It has the range for a proper relaunch. I do not disagree with you at all. I think somebody should do that. Goldcat Studio says, I like a hint of Brill Cream. Reminds me of my grandfather. Wagstaff says, I knew hairy-chested would be an adjective early on this one. Well, it's got to be said, hasn't it? Are hairy chests kind of keep coming in and out of fashion. Where are we at with hairy chests? Are they meant to be trimmed at the moment? I don't know. I'm just trying to think of, and I suppose Marvel superheroes, if they're meant to be like a model, they don't often actually bare their chests, do they? I don't know. What is the kind of golden standard for male hirsuteness at the moment, and in the pectoral region? Woozy says Bernard Shaw was basically the Quentin Biche of his time. Interesting comment. Except instead of Akigala wood, he was putting his leathery oak moss accord into everything. Very, very interesting comment. Discuss. We should get Michael Edwards on here and discuss that with him. Hungry Gway says, love the smell of Brill Cream. I'm sure there is a Neroli note in it. Oh, yeah, there may well be. David says, it's a star anise that gives shaving cream and Rive Gauche pour Homme, along with Azaro for that matter, that distinct vibe, right? Along with some other spices, I'm sure. Yes, and to me, patchouli, a very, very kind of distinctive patchouli, a patchouli that's somewhere, it's that accord, isn't it, between that kind of bitter herbalness and the patchouli that sort of cleans up the patchouli without cleaning it up too much. Rive Gauche is probably the kind of high point of those sorts of scents for me. But what is it that Rive Gauche was obviously taken from as well? I mean, was it, I don't want to say azure, but there is a scent where you smell it and you think, aha, so this is basically where this idea comes from. Gavin says, I am hairy-chested and feel somewhat stereotyped. Oh, I'm so sorry. Apologies. We try not to stereotype any of our viewers. Body hair is back, says Dahlia. You are welcome. Okay, right. Well, I'll be all right then. David says, I'm a supporter of hairy chest, but that's for another chat. I love the tangents that we go on here. Wagstaff says, I'll take leathery oak moss over Akigala wood. Yeah, I probably would as well, actually. Dahlia says, anise, licorice, tarragon could make near anything smell better. Very, very good point. Okay, Power Connection says, lol, I just got an ad for Manscaped. Okay, so I'm guessing someone thinks men's chests should be trimmed. One day we should do a study on the sorts of adverts that come up during these Persolaise videos. If a brand released something pretty much exactly like this nowadays, I wonder how it would do. I wonder if the sort of younger fragrance boys would think this was something brand new and would embrace it, or would, because I don't think this even smells of too many grandfathers nowadays anymore, does it? Or does it? I don't know. Do we need to wait one more generation before this could come across as new? What are we getting here? Anyway, for those of you who haven't smelt it, it is very, very, very herbal, quite bitter. It's got that anisic, artemisia, tarragon, somebody said, which is a very, very good call, note, strong patchouli. What are the sorts of notes as mentioned by, you know, the sites that the likes of you and I like to use a lot? Oh, they just say bergamot, geranium. Yes. Yeah, and I think that's the lightness, that's the charm, that's the sensuality, that's the thing that stops it. being too outright aggressive. So it's and I guess then that idea was taken several decades later by Frederic Malle and Dominique Ropion when they did Géranium pour Monsieur. I wonder if I can just get a few more notes, or is that the best that we're going to be able to do? Let's just see what we can find out here on the old tablet. A little bit more here. So lime, bergamot, lavender, and lemon, all the best things. Then aniseed, caraway, tarragon, and orange blossom. Okay, so that neroli thing in there as well. And then in the base, patchouli, sandalwood, tonka bean, basil, cinnamon, leather, and oak moss. But it works well. And even this formulation, which, as I say, is not the original, so I suppose the original would have had a lot more oak moss. This is attractive. Gavin says, I think we're not too far off realizing a perfume called Tom Ford's Furry Mantis. No, hang on. You haven't written man. Oh, no, you didn't write mantis, did you? Ah. Furry Mantis is a very different sort of perfume from what you have written, Gavin. And I'm really, really grateful that my eyes failed me at that moment. If you would like to see what Gavin actually wrote, I invite you to the live chat. But Tom Ford's Furry Mantis is a completely different scent. David says, I was wondering if these classic 80s, 90s fougères are set for a revival. I've been getting a lot of compliments recently when I wear Cartier Pasha EDT. Yes, I always struggled with Pasha. I think because Pasha is 90s, isn't it? Unless I'm mistaken. And I think that kind of took things a little step too far. I had a friend who wore Pasha, and yeah, I think he overdid it. Or maybe it's because he overdid it that I found myself struggling with it. I really like some of the Cartier releases, says Carry On. Skip this one, Persolaise. Tom Ford Furry. Stop. I'm not reading any of these comments anymore. Here's the pre-sprayed Tuscany Per Uomo. Okay. I would imagine, to some extent this is speculation, but based on a lot of experience, as you know, the dry down here of this version has gone a little bit thin. It's kind of lost its foundations. And I would imagine that the original would have then gone into a beautiful sandalwood oak moss note. And I guess that's what's missing here. It's just gone maybe a touch too monodimensionally woody without having something else in there for a contrast. And I guess this is the kind of thing that would now make it easier for people to dismiss this as being just, in inverted commas, old-fashioned. Beau de Jour, yes, thank you for mentioning that. Thomas says Beau de Jour is an absolute gem. That was Tom Ford taking those sorts of ideas, absolutely, and trying to recreate them for a modern audience. David says Tom Ford's Beau de Jour seems to have done well, which could also be a sign that these fougères are back in style. Yeah, that was a good one. I enjoyed that one. Although it did still feel retro, didn't it? I remember kind of thinking that it referenced, the likes of Robert Redford and that sort of era of Hollywood stars. Okay, just a little bit of a trip down memory lane. Now, it is the 1st of December, which means that the kind of Persolaise annual calendar starts the wind down, because we're going to have to start thinking about when we do our best of the year list. I haven't yet decided when that is going to be, but I would imagine it's probably going to be on something like the 28th of December, maybe the 29th. We'll have to see how we go. But until then, there's still lots and lots of things I would like to be able to do with you. I hope to be able to do some more reviews, obviously, of new things that have wafted under my nose. I would really, really, really try and get the top 10 fig perfume list out of the way, because I know that there is at least one person who really wants me to do the top 10 fig perfumes. We'll try and do as much as possible, but the year is slowly coming to an end. If you have any ideas for things that you'd like me to do in terms of lists, if there are any particular perfumes you would like me to cover, please let me know either in a comment or on the video. Or you could always leave a comment on a blog post or on the Substack, etc., etc. Oris Eros says, my first live was a year ago, and you've stuck around for a year. Then you have done well. We have not put you off. That's nice to know. Anyway, for now, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned to social media for details of new videos coming your way. But until then, watch out for Tom Ford's Furry Mantis. Bye now.